Sing the song. overwhelmed by statistics coming from the oil companies. I think we should put some perspectives on today's hearing. You will note, Mr. Chair, that during the last hearing, this representation provided certain data coming from the tanks of Rotterdam Refinery and the tanks of Petronas Malaysia, also docked in Singapore. May I be allowed to present this data, Mr. Chair, which I updated last night. So these are basic price data as of March 25, 2026.
Yes, go ahead, Senator Mark.
Can you please, can you see it, Mr. Chair? This slide, Mr. Chair, is provides the data supplied to me by Netherlands Refinery, Rotterdam Tanks in Singapore, as of March 25, 2026, on the basis of 100,000 shipment, 100,000 metric tons, which means 118 million liters. And assuming that Philippine peso is 60 pesos per $1, 1 metric ton equals 1,180 liters. The FOB price, as you will see in this slide, Mr. Chair, is 570 US metric ton per metric ton. Okay, metric ton. Yung shipping cost nito, Mr. Chair, ito 1,500. Okay. So, yung MOPS niya is $1.71 per liter. Kapag kinompute natin ito, Mr. Chair, FOB $570. So, translate na natin $15 per liter. Isama natin ng $15 per liter and MOPS of 1.71. Multiply that by 60, Mr. Chair, and divided by 1,180. Conversion in liters. Makikita po nyo dyan, the FOB landed cost is 29 pesos 83 centavos. Kapag in-add po natin yung mga local add-ons, importation, distribution, and storage deposit to acquire TSA, broker fees, duties, port chain charges, SGS survey, wharfage, incidental charges, 12% VAT, excise tax, BIR fuel marking, 2% CME per liter, and VAT differential totaling only 15 pesos and 51 cents. Ang total landed cost, Mr. Chair, is 45 pesos and 35 centavos.
Mr. Lubin,
So yung SRP po, or passion price, for example, at 55 pesos per liter, meron pa pong tubo na 9.6 pesos. In the last hearing, you will recall, Mr. Chair, I was asking the DOE Secretary kung paano po nangyari 2 weeks ago before the war, the price of diesel is 55 pesos per liter. Bigla pong sumirit ng 125 liters, average of 125 liters after 2 weeks. The difference is 70 pesos, Mr. Chair, or an increase of 127. Ito po ay verifiable sa paano po. Can you show the second slide? Yan ba yan? Mr. Chair, ito po yung second slide. Yung nauna kanina, FOB price, kaya 570 per metric ton, US dollars. Ito po CIF, $640 per metric ton. So palagay mo, lagyan din natin ng shipping cost of $15 per metric ton. At saka yung MOPS, 1.71. The same computation, FOB landed price 33 pesos and 39 centavos. So isama po natin yung binanggit ko pong mga add-on, local add-ons, 51.51, 48 pesos and 91 cents. So with the SRP or passion price of 55 per liter, may 6 pesos pa pong tubo eh. So paano po nangyari? Kaya hindi ko po maintindihan. Nagpatulong na po kami sa DOJ, DOE nung isang hearing. Hindi naman po nila maipaliwanag. And they were asking for my data. Ayan na po yung mga data. Will you show the last? Mr. Chair, ito po yung last slide. CIF uli ito. Dito po Petronas, Malaysia Refinery. The tanks are all in Singapore. O ito po makikita nyo, $680 per metric ton, CIF. Maski lagyan pa natin ang shipping cost na $15 at saka yung 1.71 na MAPS. Again, using the same computation translated into liters, 35 pesos and 42 centavos plus the local add-ons, 50 pesos 94. Passion price 55, meron pa pong tubong 4 pesos per liter. How do we explain this? Sinasabi po ninyo you were importing it from Dubai and you cannot penetrate it because of the closure of the Hormuz Strait of Hormuz. Bakit po yun ang reference natin? I'm talking about the prices now being quoted by the tanks in Singapore. Petronas and Rotterdam tanks in Singapore. This is tanks to vessel transaction. Ay, alam ko po, alam niyo ito. So, yung vessel po lalapit lang sa tanks. Kaya kung gusto niyo CIF, yung tanks na lang lalapit sa inyo. But these are the prices. You can check the prices in Singapore. Nasa akin po eh. I check it with a friend in Singapore. It's very easy naman po eh. We have an embassy in Singapore, I suppose, na maaaring makapagtanong din siya to check this data. Bakit po the President said 2 weeks ago we have about 50 to 60 na inventory. Okay. After 2 weeks, bakit po sumirit ng ganun? Inventory pa nyo, meron pa po tayo. During the last hearing, we have 45 days for diesel and 54 days for gasoline as admitted by DOE. So what are we talking about? Prices of Dubai or Argus benchmark analysis or even the MOPS? Why are we using indicators when there are basic prices even quoted by the tanks in Singapore? Bakit po yung reference natin is the MAPS or the Argus benchmark? Why so? These are hard facts, Mr. Chair. I'm showing it to you now. Saan po ninyo kinukuha yung langis ba? Dubai?
May I answer, Mr. Chair?
Yes,
I am not familiar with the data that is being presented. But very clearly also, Dubai price now is 140. You can ask DOE. How can a product be cheaper than $140 per barrel?
Sir, because it is being referenced to the Argus benchmark, the Argus data. You're taking it from the maps. You talk about Dubai maps or Singapore Platts. Indicators po ito eh. This this is the trading floor, like WSM. Tinetrade po natin yon. Pero kung yung mga tangki na po sa Petronas ang nagsasabi and they're providing this data to us, paano po natin i-reconcile ito? I'm not questioning your indicators po, but I am only showing some figures, hard facts, that are supplied to me.
Your Honor, again, this is the first time that we've seen the numbers. We would love to check it as well, but
Yes, sir.
Yun Argus po kasi is another information provider para lang din maps yan eh. Pero dito kasi plots ang ginagamit.
Yes, sir. Ano po yun eh? Worldwide po yun eh. Let's take the example of WSM sa electricity po. It's a trading floor. Ang WSM po, kapag ka walang bilateral contracts po yung supplier ng kuryente, pupunta sa WSM. Kung bilateral, may mga suppliers po ang Meralco, okay lang po yon. Pupunta lahat sila sa WSM. So yung WSM, the trading floor, ito yung spot market, ididikta niya. Pero hindi lahat ng pagkakataon sa WSM po yun. Kumisan nga eh, sa WSM magtataka kayo eh, 32 pesos pa nga eh, per kilowatt hour, which is impossible. Sa Meralco, siguro 10, 11 pesos per kilowatt hour. Sa electric cooperative, siguro, medyo mataas ng konti, 14 to maybe 18 pesos per kilowatt hour. Yan sinasabi po ninyo is the trading floor. That's the spot market. But I'm telling you, these are the figures. You can check it. Kaya po binigay ko na po rin para makita po ninyong lahat. Eh. I can even give you a name of a company in Singapore. Para siya po yung makipag-deal. It will take only the government, siguro mag-issue po kayong letter of intent. Baka mamaya po, sumagot na po yun eh. And for our country to issue the ICPO. Yusek, meron kang gusto sabihin?
Oh. We'd like to thank, for the record, Mr. Chair, thank you very much. On behalf of the DOE, we asked for the data precisely to validate and also...
Ito yung ginagawa ni Marcoleta lagi eh. Yung paalam-alam effect na akala mo alam niya ng lahat. Kaya ito yung nasabi na magko-compute siya. Magkano yung data, ganito yung data ko, ganito yung ano ko. Isa yun naman lahat lang naman gusto mong pakinggan eh. Gusto mo ikaw lang yung lahat pakinggan, ikaw lang yung tama. Nagpapaliwanag ng iba. Pinapaliwanagan ka nga para malaman mo kung bakit. Pero ayaw mo kasing makinig kaya pinapakita mo kasi na ikaw yung tagapagligtas ng mga taong nahihirapan dahil sa petrolyo, dahil sa oil crisis na tinatawag natin. Hindi naman yung Pilipinas lang yung nagdurusa sa oil crisis eh. Kahit ng mga malalaking bansa. Kahit na yung mga bansa na may mismong oil reserve, nagdudusa din sa kanilang sa tinatawag na pagtaas ng presyo. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na mayroon kang pondo na hanggang nitong buwan. Ibig sabihin hindi na yun maapektuhan. Paano yung pag-i-impact nun? Ibig sabihin, uubusin na lang yun. Pag naubos na, anong gagawin? Tunganga na lang. Tingala. Another crisis na naman. Sasabihin mo na naman, mali na naman yung ginagawa. Kasi inubos muna bago nag-angkat. Kasi makinig muna sa mga paliwanag din ng mga oil companies. Kasi sila yung may alam dyan. Huwag kasi laging magmarunong. Kala mo kasi lagi ikaw nang lahat. Ikaw na yung tama. May numbers ka pa dyan. Mag-total ka pa dyan. Lumang tugtugin na yan. Ganyan na lang lagi. bawat hearing parang pinapamukha mo sa mga kausap mo na bobo sila, na tanga sila, ikaw yung tama, ikaw yung matalino. Sana marunong ka rin makinig. Magtanggap din ng kung ano yung paliwanag ng iba, kasi nagmumukha kang patawa-tawa eh. Gusto mong ikaw lang laging paniwalaan. Maniwala naman tayo. Tingnan naman natin kung ano yung sasabihin ng mga taong eksperto dito. Kasi ito na yung buhay nila eh. Okay, pakinggan natin kung ano yung sasabihin ng mga companies. Nang sa ganun maliwanagan din tayo na hindi tayo magpapadala lang sa tapos kukuhanin ng panguha lang ng simpatya ng tao yung ginagawa ni Marcoleta eh. Na kunwari siya yung tagapagdiktas ng mga mamamayan na nahihirapan dahil sa oil crisis. Kaya sasabihin niya, hindi, niloloko tayo ng mga oil companies na to. Kung ako, taong walang alam din kung bakit taasan yung mga presyo ng gasolina, ng crudo, ng lahat ng mga ginagamit natin sa pang-araw-araw. Sasabihin ko, tama si Marcoleta. Pero hindi. Kaya pinaglalaroan lang yung utak natin eh. Napaglalaroan nila kung saan tayo kukunin, saan tayo kikilitiin. Ito yung mga galawan ni Marcoleta eh. Di ba? Noon pa, galaw niya na to.
Look into the conversion and the computation. So I'd like to thank the Honorable Marcoleta for showing it right now.
For the record, Mr. Chair, may I provide the copies of the 3 slides I have shown?
Yeah, the committee will request for those computation and furnish the Department of Energy those computations, as well as the associations of the different oil companies. With
For
your
the record, Mr. Chair, I am leaving it with the committee.
Yes.
And for the DOE to just access this particular data.
We will
Thank you very
furnish
much,
the
Mr. Chair.
we will furnish the department, Senator Marcoleta. We'll discuss pricing later on. No? We're also very interested with pricing kasi
Giniit pa talaga na ibibigay yung copy niya, no? Para sabihin na ay nako. Okay.
ng dumediretso sa sikmura ng bawat isa eh. Pag sinabi natin pricing, talagang literally diretso sa sikmura ng bawat isa, especially ng ating mga PUV drivers, no. So pag-uusapan ho natin yang mamaya at request ko nga si Senator Marcoleta to provide us with this computation because seems to me na napakalayo naman po yung quotation na nakuha ni Senator Marcoleta, which is just yesterday, versus yung actual pricing na nakikita natin ngayon. But we'll discuss that later on after we finish the comments and the statements. So next will be Chevron, represented by Mr. Tang Manuswong, the President and Country Chairman of Chevron Philippines. Go
Thank you,
ahead, sir.
Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. Before addressing the 4 inquiries from Mr. Chair, let me quickly address the point about the pricing. First and foremost, that's our first time seeing this information, so I appreciate if we can get that information for our validation purpose and also to make sure that the unit and the conversion is aligned with the practice here in the Philippines. What I immediately see from the list, what is missing is one of the key cost factor, which is the product premium that we have to pay to the trader, and that's already a big chunk of the cost component coming to the Philippines. Just to give an idea, now we are talking about dollar per barrel unit, unlike the dollar per liter unit just flashed up earlier. MOPS yesterday for diesel was more than $220 per barrel, while the product premium that we have to pay to the trader in order to get the supply is supposed to be, in normal circumstances, is between $0 to $1 per barrel premium. But as of yesterday, it's more than $40 per barrel. That's the premium that we have to pay to the trader in order to get the supply. Again, after getting the information, that spreadsheet, we are willing to clarify and confirm the information whether the current information that we are using is aligned with that information or not. Now coming back to the 4 inquiries from Mr. Chairman, the first one is the inventory. For Chevron, at this point of time, similar to the information provided by DOE, we have sufficient inventory up until the last week of April. So that's our current inventory situation. But anyway, that's based on the normal level of the demand. Second is on the supply security. Similar to the information provided to DOE, Chevron already secured the shipments in April. Having said that, there are also possible uncontrollable factors coming from the source countries. As Mr. Lubin mentioned earlier, some of the countries already banned the export of fuel product to outside of the country. So those are uncontrollable factors that may impact to the supply security of the company. At the moment, we are in the finalization stage of the May shipment, which is yet to confirm. And talking about the global supply chain, we get the product from refineries in the region, and most of the refineries in Asia got the crude oil from Middle East. Right now, all refineries are still running using the crude oil inventory before the war. That normally lasts for 45 to 60 days. That means at this point of time, refineries can still continue the production, although almost all of them, I would say most of them already reduced the production capacity. So the supply from the refinery is already tight, and the impact we will come to the import countries likely end of April and May, and that's when the refineries will have to secure the crude supply, the new crude supply from Middle East. So right now the issue is pretty much on the pricing. The supply is tight, but for Chevron it's still manageable, at least for March and April. Number 3, talking about the pricing mechanism, I would like to mention again that yes, we import based on the Platts index, which is MOPS in Singapore. On top of that, we also have to compete with other buyers to pay product premium to the trader in order to get the supply. On top of that is the increasing freight and insurance.
So I do echo what Mr. Nepomuceno and Kunbon has mentioned when it comes to the tightness in supply. And it is getting tighter and tighter. And with Asia being the first region, India and then Asia being the first regions impacted. Then you also see like LPG problems in India and in Asia, the tightness. And as a result of that, then you do see a number of the governments declaring export bans, which has resulted to refineries declaring force majeure. Now, global prices for oil and gas are global. Therefore, even Mr. Trump, who has sufficient supply, is not spared from the elevated prices.
Oh, sige, tamo. Kahit ngang US, di ba? ang US ay meron siyang malaking reserve na oil. Pero siya, apektado din sa oil price hike. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na yung Pilipinas lang nakakaranas ng pagtaas ng oil. Ito ay tinatawag na global, kaya nga global crisis. Kasi hindi lang ito isang bansa. Lahat ng mga bansa sa buong mundo naghahanap ng pagkukunan ng langis. Kaya malabo yung sinasabi ni Marcoleta na, sige, pupunta tayo sa Singapore, doon tayo magkukuha, doon tayo aangkat, kasi doon ang mas mura. Do you think yung Singapore, mabibigyan tayo ng sapat? At do you think pag nagkuha tayo sa Singapore, bababa yung presyo? Ito nga, ini-explain nga nila nito kung bakit yung presyo ay tumataas. Oo, nandun na tayo sa binibilang natin na sinasabi natin na dahil hanggang isang buwan pa naman yung pondo. Bakit nagmahal na? May pondo naman eh. Dapat magmamahal ba sa susunod pa na buwan? Kasi sa susunod pa na buwan, mauubos yung pondo nila. Paano sila bibili? Kung wala na silang pondo, wala na silang pera. Kasi sobrang mahal na. Diba? Nakita mo yung point. Tingnan natin yung punto sa maliit lang na ehemplo. Pag yung tindahan, may laman, tas biglang nagtaas ng presyo ang lahat-lahat. So, ibig sabihin yung presyo ng tindahan mo, ganun pa rin. Paano ka nalang bibili na susunod mo pang ibebenta kung lugi ka na? Ito yung sinabi ni Ramon ang nakaraan na paano pa makakasurvive kung nalugi na yung nagbebenta. Sino pang magbebenta kung lahat ay nalugi na? Lalong lumala yung crisis. Diba?
That region is not also spared. So when it comes to the supply and inventory of Shell Pilipinas Corporation, that is our foremost. I think our priority right now is to ensure that during this time we are able to still get molecules into the country. We want to make sure that we continue to supply reliable, safe, and quality fuel. Now, while we adhere to and maintain what is required by the government when it comes to inventory levels, at times like this, we recognize that is not enough. And therefore, we are exerting best efforts to still go beyond the minimum, making sure that we have enough stock coverage. It is extraordinary times. I think as the other players have mentioned, there are molecules out there, it's still available, but then with the elevated prices, it's really felt. And if you look at, even if you look at MOPS pricing at the end of February, it was 71. It has reached as high as 160 last week, and I think 140-ish yesterday. So that's also a 120% increase. I think it was mentioned on Market Premium, which is also published. It was hovering around $0 to $2 per barrel at the end of February, and now we are seeing numbers 30, 41. Insurance costs have gone up, freight costs have also gone up, and indeed it is not helped. It is not helped also by where the peso, by where the peso is. So I think for Shell Pilipinas Corporation, we support an all society approach when it comes to how we work together moving forward to make sure that we are able to help our country. Now, for us, when it comes to resourcing and sourcing of molecules, we do rely on our global trading network. And aside from, for example, the usual routes that we have, then we've really gone into diversification when it comes to sourcing. We've also looked at contingency routing for that matter. And we are making sure that we prevent ourselves from being in a position where we are running short. But again, there is a question on pricing. So in the discussion indeed with the DOE, and I think which the DOE is now doing, we did ask for support when it comes to granting security to cargoes that we have already contracted. So we do see some countries exercising an export ban. So our ask has been through the G2G discussions to ensure that our contracts are honored and the cargo that is bound for the Philippines does get loaded and does get shipped and not diverted. We also support, I think, the government's efforts when it comes to targeted subsidies, and therefore we also have programs when it comes to PUVs and TNVS, for example. I think for us, even through this time, then we make sure that we are really compliant with all the government requirements. Even when it comes to the schedules around pricing increases, for example, and other things. I think on the diversification of supply, I think one thing that is under discussion is to align some of our standards with other countries, such as Australia and Malaysia, because for some of the specifications for the Philippines, then we have higher specifications. Now, if we align with other countries, then that does open up sourcing options for us, and therefore that is also being discussed. I guess with the excise tax suspension, which is now enacted into law, we also are prepared to make sure that that is implemented in a clear and in a coordinated manner, together with the DOE, together with the DOF, the BIR, and the BOC. So I'll leave it there when it comes to the update from Shell Pilipinas Corporation.
Thank you. And lastly, we call on Ms. Jetty, yes, Senator Marcoleta.
Just a few questions, Madam. Everybody else in the oil industry is pinpointing the Strait of Hormuz as the chief villain. But you said that only 20% of the oil supply is coming through the route, the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. What about the Suez Canal, Madam? Are you assuming that it is closed?
So right now, the Suez Canal is not closed. So
Yes.
you look at three waterways.
No, I'm only asking you if the Suez Canal...
Kita mo to? Napaka... Ewan, nung... Ano bang ginagawa ng Marcoleta na to? Siyempre, hindi magkuklose ang Suez Canal kasi wala namang gera doon. At ano naman ang kinalaman ng Suez Canal dyan? Papaliwanagan ka na nga. Ayaw mo pang pakinggan. Gusto mo sagutin ka lang ng yes or no? Siyempre, sasabihin, the Suez Canal is not closed. Tapos ano? Pagkasagot niya na hindi close, ano naman ngayon? Papaliwanagan ka nga eh. Tapos babarahin mo. Kasi gusto mo lang malaman ng yes or no. Ano ba to? Minsan napaka illogical ng mga pinanggagawa ng taong to eh.
Canal is closed also.
It is not closed.
It is not, of
Yeah.
course. And you know that the oil of Russia and probably Kazakhstan are being processed by Rotterdam. You know about that?
It is a global business.
Yes,
I will have
madam.
to check
But
that.
what I'm saying is Suez Canal is open. America is not affected by the Strait of Hormuz. Okay.
From a pricing
Petronas of
perspective,
Malaysia
it
is not
impacts the
affected
entire
by
world.
the Petronas of Malaysia is not affected by the Strait of Hormuz. Am I correct?
Everyone is affected by the closure of the Strait
Everyone.
of Hormuz.
Why everyone? I have shown to you
Sir, because
The
of the
data.
pricing, which is global.
that is always the argument. You're always returning back to the argument of a replacement cost of Argus, of maps, and the plots.
Yan naman pala ang gusto mo pakinggan. Ay, yun naman talaga ang tama. Alam, hindi na sila ewan. Ewan ko ba sa'yo, Marcolita, kung ano yung mga pinagsasabi mo? Ayaw mo kasing maniwala sa mga sinasabi nito eh. Nag-invite ka pa, nagpatawag ka pa dyan, nang lumalabas solo yung monologue, kasi gusto mong ikaw na lang lahat pakinggan, ayaw mo naman makinig sa kanila. Itong mga tao to, expert ito sa kung anong gusto mong sabihin dyan, gusto mong ipalabas. Hanip naman. Sa sobrang patalino-talino natin, nagiging bobo tuloy tayo eh. Yung mga tactics mo na yan, hindi na yan. Ewan na. Tatanungin mo kung sarado o bukas yung Suez Canal. Tapos yung ibang bansa doon magdadaan. Tapos ano kinalaman doon? Pupunta ang Pilipinas doon. Kuha ng crudo doon. Alam mo naman kung saan kukuha ng crudo yung Pilipinas, di ba? Sinabi na nga sa'yo. Kung may mga possibilities na mangyayari yun, mas malaki ang gagastusin sa travel, ang mga vessels. Bakit pag bumili ka ba, pag sinabi mong bili ako ng 1 galon na crudo, ano yan? Door-to-door delivery? O parang bumili ka lang mula sa kinaupuan mo dyan hanggang doon sa may pintuan, ano. Madali kasing magsalita. Napakadali na mag-comment ka dyan, napakadaling sabihin yung mga gusto mong sabihin, pero ito yung mga taong gumagawa niyan eh. Ito yung mga taong kumakaharap dyan. Kinakaharap nila araw-araw yung krisis na yan. Kaya sila yung may alam dyan kung anong nangyayari. Tapos tatanungin mo, yes or no? Open ba ang Suez Canal? Ewan.
But what about the data I had just shown a few minutes ago?
I think as mentioned by the other members, we have not seen that data, and we would be happy to look at it. Now, if you then look at market dynamics,
As we speak, you can already check this, madam.
we will have a look at it, sir. I would be happy to have a look at it.
Of course, of
yeah.
course. And this committee awaits for confirmation on your side
Yes.
if these data are correct or not.
Yes.
That's the
Now,
only issue.
I hear you.
Because this data, as you will, as you might have noted, they do not even, they even included the VAT and the excise tax and even the biofuel. Earlier, even our committees also took upon ourselves of legislating, let's say, suspending the collection of VAT or even the excise tax, and even suspending or replacing our CME with PME, which is, of course, will be affecting our coconut industry. But in this data that I have just presented, we will preserve all this. That's why it is very important for you to please check on this data, first of all, before we even continue discussing your apprehensions and your world data and the trending and the trading floor and the spot market and blah, blah, blah.
So, ganun ano. Nakita natin sa mga sinasabi niya na yung data niya lang ang dapat tingnan. Yung data niya lang ang dapat busisiin. Paano naman yung mga data? Paano yung mga info? Paano yung mga explanations ng mga taong to na inimbitahan mo na magsalita? Kung gusto mo rin, busisiin mo rin yung mga data nila. Pakinggan mo rin yung mga sinasabi nila. And confirm it. And compare it. Kung yung data mo ba ay tama. At kung yun lang ang tama. At kung yun lang ang solusyon. Yung mga taong to, hindi naman to basta lang na nagninegosyo. Naghahanap din sila ng solusyon kung paano din matugunan ang mga pangangailangan ng mga tao. Hindi naman to, kung sa palagay mo, yung mga taong to, negosyo lang yung iniisip, sila, bumibili din to ng gasolina, bumibili din ito ng mga produkto na kung anong binibenta nila. Tapos sasabihin natin na dahil apektado ang mga Pilipino, apektado ang taong bayan sa nangyayaring krisis. Oo, apektado ang taong bayan, apektado kaming lahat. Na imbis na ikain mo, ibibili mo pa ng pagkamahal-mahal na mga gas. So, kaya lang dito, sana naman binigyan mo sila ng pagkakataon na magsalita. Binigyan mo rin sila ng pagkataon na pakinggan. Binigyan mo rin sila ng pagkakataon na maisa publiko din nila yung kung bakit nangyayari ito. At wag natin laging isisisi lang sa mga taong to ang mga nangyayari sa buong mundo. Sa pagtaas ng gasolina, sa pagtaas ng kung anong mga commodities natin. Dahil hindi lang naman tayo ang durusa sa oil crisis. Buong mundo, kaya nga sinasabi nila is a global problem. It's not only a nationwide problem. Di ba? Buong mundo, walang ni isa na spared sa problemang ito. Kaya sana kung gusto natin malaman kung ano yung totoong pangyayari, kung ano yung nangyayari, kung ano yung mga pinagdadaanan ng mga taong to, kung paano lang para matugunan yung mga pangangailangan natin sa langis. pakinggan din natin sila. Marunong din tayo makinig. Hindi yung puro na lang na ako. Ay. Okay, so salamat sa pakikinig. So yan lang po ang ating i-discuss sa ngayon, yung pagtingin natin sa kung ano yung problema sa petrolyo, yung ang krisis. So yung krisis natin ay hindi lamang yan na sa ating mga Pilipino, kundi yung krisis ay pangkalahatan sa buong mundo. So yung sisi, wag lang natin ibato sa mga tao din na gumagawa din ng paraan para hindi tayo mawalan. Yun lang naman ang punto dyan. At sana wag din samantalahin yung pagkakataong ito, krisis na nga, magpapakahiro-hiro na naman tayo, gagamitin na naman ang sitwasyon na to para itaas na naman ang sarili natin. Huwag naman ganun na minsan nakakabastos din eh. Inimbitahan mo yung mga tao na magpaliwanag dyan tapos hindi mo naman papakinggan. Tapos yun lang naman ang gusto mo, yung gusto mong pakinggan nila. Sana kung gusto natin pakinggan, marunong din tayo makinig. Yun na po.